Please click on the thumbs up button and the subscribe button if you enjoyed my vlog. Bye for now.
Well, we're going to a place called Appleby today. Appleby. It's a place my wife used to walk as a child, and the steep, very, very steep steps in front of me, which I'm not going up, is one way to get there. Now across here, that was once a railway bridge. I think before my time. Yeah. Into the party restaurant. The bridleway takes us down to Appleby, which was once going to be the railway line, but I believe it was cut off for some reason and it became known as a stump. Anyway, let's go down and have a look. Well, the trees took some armour, some from the winds, I believe, the gales we've just had, and it's now ready to come down. Pity I can't get some better light, but that's just the look of the draw. Yeah, it's all broken at the top there. So the last time I came down to Appleby, these footpaths were very narrow, hard to walk on as well. And I think my son, the first time we came down there, my son had just started walking. And there used to be a stream down here that was never dried up, but it did actually dry up on one occasion when we had heat waves some years. Well, the estate on the hill there is called Bleakley, and when I was a young fella I used to work on the main drains, and all those houses couldn't flush the toilets, and I was asked to come down here and have a look, and I found a manhole cover in there somewhere, and apparently nobody else could find it, and they've been looking a long time. Anyway, I found it, and a man I worked with and myself tried to clear it with what they call rods, and we had to get something called a jetting machine, which jetted water down into the pipes, and it remained clear for years after. Well, we've just come out of the shadows, and I'm really pleased, because once again it's bitterly cold. Got the gloves on, 3 layers I mentioned the other day, and at the same time, believe it or not, I've got sun cream on because the sun is so strong. Well, you can see that my son's moved on quite a bit. Now, it doesn't really matter that he walks a long way away from me and I can't find him when it's a footpath, because footpaths, as we know, all lead in the same direction. But when you're out on it, well, as we were on the last one, in the countryside, and you can't find somebody, that becomes distressing. So you have to keep together. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but it's a beautiful view, beautiful, really bright orange. So that's the type of manhole cover I was referring to. This is not the one, of course, but there is a line all the way down the footpaths we're going, and it's quite a big sewer actually, quite a big pipe. To my left and I couldn't catch them, but about 5 great tits have just been in there. Well, at the side of that sewer there's a stream, and that's often the case, because sometimes, particularly in the past, you got a sewerage pipe and what they call a top water pipe for taking away the rainwater. And if there was too much, the rainwater came out into a dike like this. But there's a bridge. I don't know all the bridges. I'll get another photo in a minute. But it's a bridge to walk over, obviously. So there it is, going over the dike. Substantial as well, but very old. Leading off over there towards the field. So here's a bit better view of it. Well, this area was locally named the Bluebell Wood, and of course there was lots and lots of bluebells in there, and there's some person, to make sure that people didn't go in and pick the bluebells, put up a sign saying beware of the bull, and to some extent it worked. And then of course the land became private and private signs went in there, and of course over the years people just look at the bluebells because they're so precious now. But back in the day, 70 years ago, they were quite commonplace, and people, children in particular, came down and picked the bluebells for Mum and Dad. A bit further on, my wife, I don't know if I'll make it today, but my wife was playing with other children of her age group, 6-7-year-old maybe, with older boys and girls, and she was playing in the stream that I referred to earlier, and someone had left a glass bottle in there, and she cut herself on the bottle, and the children put her in a pram and raced her, yeah, can I say that, and ran with her in the pram while she was bleeding, and the local doctor sewed put several stitches in for her. It was always a weakness with her though, even to this day she's got weakness in that foot. But anyway, you can see today we've got the sun behind us, you can just see my shadow here, and it's still quite a nice area, even in cold, on a cold day such as today, and you could imagine when all the leaves are on the trees, it looks really beautiful. Later it became so popular to come down there with go up there actually with their vehicles. They put these things like this in place, so when the people were looking at the bluebells, some of them didn't want to walk. Anyway, now we're coming to fork in the road, and I'll explain that. This is probably a better view of the Bluebell Wood as I've just described here, because it's at the bottom of where we want to be. To the left there's a road, and I'll look at that in a sec. So we're on a public bridleway at this side to the left, and to the right it's a public footpath, and I'll tell you where the road leads to in just a second. So down to the right there is a village called Notton, and coming up to the left, I've got my directions right for once. Since I last came down here, there's been a few houses built. One up there, leading up there, which is now called Applehague Court, and it tells you it's a cul-de-sac up here, and it said, there's a sign somewhere, private road, no parking. And you can understand why people will be all over the place down here. I'm just trying to find the dike, or the brook as it might be called. I think you can hear it in the distance. Now this used to be the walk down to Appleby years ago, or one of the walks, and today I've found that it's all locked up, so I'm afraid that's a no-no. Now why it is I don't know, but there you go. Anyway, not to worry about that, because we have an half gate here that's open, and in fact that gentleman's just gone through. I've helped him while he's gone through with his cycle, so I'm going to have a look. Now this is how the old footpath used to look when I came down here with my wife and son. We were the only people walking at that time. It was the thing to be not walking and be in a car all the time, and people used to laugh at us. Now we have a situation where lots of people are walking and cycling too. So I wonder what will be around this bend. Soon find out. Well, here we are. We've arrived at Appleby, as we called it. Last time we was on site, it was just a plank of wood going over the dike. All this area was neat and tidy, and now it's all overgrown, as you might expect. But well worth coming, because it's brought lots of memories back to me of the times that I came down here with my son as a child. In fact, I've got some photographs of it, and my son now is in his mid-50s, almost, and as I've just been told, and it's it's a long time since we've been this way. So this is roughly where my wife cut a foot open, I mentioned earlier. You can see you can walk in there. Fairly clear water, but I wonder how it was back then. I don't know if it was ochre or not. I doubt if it had been ochre. What am I saying? They wouldn't have been in there. Well, we've reached a fork in the road, and there's quite some distance to go yet, but I think that'll do for today. You can see that we're not getting a good picture anyway. The sun's streaking through, so I think we'll call it a day and go back. It's always a good idea when you walk through a site like this to be aware of falling trees, and obviously this one's been blown down by the gales we had last month. But just be aware that when you're walking underneath it, it could move. The other thing to remember when you're going for a walk like this, if you're not sure of how far you're going to go, be aware of the light. You can see already it's about, will it be? I'll just check the time for you. It's only 3 o'clock, and we're in November now, beginning of November, and the light's getting a bit bad for filming. I should add that the water is going from left to right here, and further up it was going from right to left, so I've not been able to find out where they meet and where it goes to. But if you're trying to find stuff out like that, water always finds its lowest spot, which sounds obvious really, doesn't it? So there'll be 2 dikes or leading into one somewhere along this line. So at this point the water's running from right to left, and the other we saw was running from left to right. So somewhere around here, because it's very low there must be a junction of some kind, and it must lead probably in that direction up there. But anyway, that's as far as I've got with it. I'll do that project another time if I can. So I've just come through another gate, and of course you've always got to close these gates, but I just want to see what's up top of this mound. And that's the gate I've just come through. I'm just hanging about a bit because my son's gone back to that bridge we had a look at to see if he can find the source of the water. There's a public footpath that goes right to the other end of that field where the trees are. There's a gentleman walking across it with his dog, but the light's too bad now to be able to pick him out, to give you an idea how far it is. And to the left of this horse is some housing development, but of course I'm not going to film it, private. Now you can see we've come out of the shaded area, we're on our way back. The sun's still out, it's very low in the sky, but you can see how much lighter it is now we've come out from behind those trees. So I've just done a time check, the clouds have moved and we're in sunlight, low sunlight I've just said, and it's now 3:30. And there are not many more afternoons like this, I'm afraid, when we can film. Well, just look at this. Didn't see this on the way out on the walk. And I always say that you see things coming back that you don't see when you're going. So just be aware of that. Keep an eye out that you might see something new going back when you go back. Earlier when I pointed that drainage unit out here, I mentioned that when it rains there was a pipe with the sewage, and it would probably go over the top of the pipe with the sewage on it, and if there was too much water in the system, then this is what would happen. The rainwater would come out through there. It's to stop it all backing up. And there's another one on the same tree.